Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Usability Testing. So the first half of our 2 hours today. So the first hour, we are going to continue to work on the material that is due for this week, for today, for midnight. And that includes the consent form, your moderator script, and the test scenarios. Again, the core engine is really the test scenario. Where are we going to be testing? Where are we going to be taking the participants? And then the moderator script is really for the moderator. It's going to be your guide, what you're going to follow during the 1 hour session. And this is due by midnight today. And then the second half, what I will do is I will pick a volunteer and we will run a usability testing. So I will show you how I would do a test if I were the moderator. So, but again, it doesn't mean we have to follow all the orders and say exactly the things that I say, but it will give you a sense of how a session goes. I don't think that we're going to do the full session, but we're going to do maybe one use test scenario, one user scenario, so that you'll see what happens when the participant comes in, and then how I conduct a session, and then how do I end the session as well. So hopefully this will help you. Now, this will give you exposure to what a session is. Sorry, my dog is running behind me crazy. I don't know what's going on. It will give you a sense of a session, and then perhaps you will do some practice with your team between now and next week. But next week we will do in class usability testing, and I will send you the breakouts in your teams, and then I will be coming in, and you will be inviting me as a participant or as well, so that I will be able to observe you as you do usability testing, moderation, and I will be able to give feedback as well to each individual. So we have a busy afternoon. Now, before we go, are there any questions about the expectation for this assignment?
Hi, Yves. I have a couple questions.
Hi.
I just wrote them down. Is somebody else talking right now too?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the 4 things that are due today are the screener, the consent form, the test scenarios, and the scripts. Yes.
That's correct.
In the assignment brief, it also says the test plan is due today.
So the test plan, it's the old terminology I think the professor used. So the test plan is the 4 deliverables.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, perfect. And then the test script, it says that a test script is due, but then in the brackets it says that that's the tasks and the facilitator script. So do you want us to combine the tasks and the facilitator script into like one section, or?
It's up to you. You can package it the way you want to package it. If it's easier to put everything in one PDF, so that for me it's probably all in one PDF so I can read it.
Okay.
But when you come to the session, you're probably just going to be printing the consent form. You're probably going to print maybe the screener, because you're probably going to refer to the screener to say, hey, I know you're a music fan, and you don't have a guitar, you're looking at a guitar, you live in blah blah blah, and then you're gonna then go to your moderator script probably. Okay. You may choose to put all of that into one moderator script for you as a facilitator, but as long as you show me that you have the 4 pieces, I'm okay.
So we can put the test script and the scenario together for ourselves while we're doing the test, but there's no special link for you that you need for the
That's correct. I just need to see your consent form. I need to see your moderator. In your moderator, you can put there your screener, and the screener I don't need to see the survey and the questions, but at least what it is that you will ask the recruiting agency to recruit for. And then your test scenario, you may want to put them in your moderator, and then your moderator will have pretty much everything. You could say, my moderator script will have everything: my consent form, my screener criteria for my screening, my test scenario, and then all in one moderator. Maybe that's easier, and it's one document for me. I just need to make sure that I see the 4 pieces.
Okay. So you don't want the screener questions because ours is like about 14 questions right
That's
now.
okay. No, don't undo. If you have them, that's even better. I was trying to make it simpler, but if you have them, that's good. I would say don't go further. Like if I just need to get a sense, Miriam, from you and your team that you know who you're going to be recruiting.
So
So that's
that's what you meant by screener? Like what would it look like? Because there was templates for all the other 3 requirements, but there wasn't a template for the screener, so we were kind of confused about that.
I know I didn't put a template. So it can be bullet points. It can just be we're gonna have what is your site again? Are you meaning the box?
No, we're long and long and McQuaid.
Oh, you are the music. Yeah. Sorry, I have so many classes and so many students that it's hard to remember all. But yes, the music. So as long as you say, here, Mr. Professor, we're gonna bring 5 people that don't have a guitar, but they're actively looking for guitars. They never own a guitar. We don't care men and women. We don't care about age. We're gonna go with the standard that we know, and we want people that are looking at buying the guitar online. I just need bullet points, so
Okay.
it's enough to give me a sense of I'll be almost going to be able to put a picture to this person that you're going to bring in, and maybe you're going to want to tell me we're going to bring 3 or 5 of this, and then the next profile. It's almost like persona, but it has to be enough for the recruiting agency to know exactly who they need to be bringing in. Okay, that's all
Okay.
I need. I didn't give you a template because I wanted you to be free in how you want to present that. But
Okay. So from my understanding, it's just the screener would be like a description of the users that we're bringing in.
yeah, it's the description of the user you're going to bring in.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, Elizabeth, you had a similar question. So if you've gone as far as putting the question, that's okay too, because maybe at some point you will have to maybe you're not going to work with an agency and you're going to have someone internally who's going to bring in call people, but that would be a lot of work. I would say,
okay. So
yeah.
it's bullet points of like personal of requirements for the users, and then if we want to have questions, we can add those in too.
Up to you. Exactly.
Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome. So if you haven't not created a question yet, don't create them. I want you to spend more time on asking yourself, the people who do we want to bring? What makes a difference in terms of criteria between our people? And then to really spend time on your test scenario, to have good test scenario and a good moderator script. But the moderator script, it's so easy. I gave you the template, but you have to fill in the screener and the test scenario, which is the core, the engine. The consent form, it's easy. You almost don't have to submit me anything because the consent form there's not much to do with it. If you click on it, open it, there's like nothing, right? Like the consent form is so generic. Great. Any other questions? I know you feel like, whew, less pressure on your shoulder. So the test plan, the other teacher was calling the test plan. All of these deliverables you can think of as being your test plan. So I try to move away from test plan, but I forgot to remove it probably fun. But the test plan is those 4 pieces really. That is what the test plan is. What do you need to know to have on day 1 when you run your first session as well? For the script, is the company the website or do we work for someone? It's the website. So Anya, the good question. It's the website. So in the script, what you're gonna say, because remember, and maybe you want to mention that in your screener. Maybe you want to say, hey, Mr. Agency, do not tell the participant that the company, the name of the website. Does anybody remember why I said, do not tell the participants that the research is about, let's say, Rogers, or let's say you work for Maccabi, and you will tell the agency, please do not tell the participant that the research is for Maccabi. Do we know why? Do we remember why I said don't tell the name of the company? Why? Yes, exactly. They might they might come up biased. They're actually going to go on the website because they think they're being tested. Homework. You guys are awesome. Yes, and then what if they don't? What if they think there's a homework and they don't do the homework? Then this is where the no-show happens, they'll go, oh no, I forgot about my test. I'm not prepared. So you want to tell the agency too that there's no homework. In fact, you don't want anybody to do homework. You just know their homework is already done. They're testing, they're actively in the market. That was their homework. One more question.
Sorry, I have a question. So at what point would we say that would we say during the script, like when we meet them, that, oh, we're working with Long and McCaddy, or?
You can tell them from the moment that they are in the room with you, Elizabeth, you can tell them. There's no wrong time to tell them. You'll say, let's say I'm your participant. You'll say, hey, Yves, thank you so much for coming to our research today. Our research is with Rogers. We've been hired, or I work. You can say, depending. You don't lie about it. I work for Rogers, or we work for Rogers. I work for Rogers. I'm part of the web team at Rogers, and we are always looking at ways to improve our website. So we thank you for coming here today. And we're going to be spending time on the Rogers website. And then they're going to say, great. Here's another little parenthesis for the screening or your recruiting screening that my advice to you would be. Maybe with the screening company, maybe you want to ask the agency to survey the participants that only have a positive opinion about Rogers. Here's why. I think I've mentioned that. If I have, would anybody remember why? Try to bring participants that actually think positive about the brand. Or anybody has an idea why?
I have a bit of a, sorry, Yves, I have a bit of a follow-up on that. Just a small question. So for one of the, so for one of the templates for the moderator script in particular, it had like, I think it said like, hello, like, to the participant, and then my name is whatever, and then I'm a researcher from, and then I think it said like observer or company. So that's not that blank that we fill in is not for the company of the website that we're researching. It's like our, do you know what I mean?
You would put whatever is appropriate for you. So I'm not sure where exactly in the moderator, but this is where the moderator will depend on the context. So what you may want to do, you may want to, if it's easier for you, like for this class, write the moderator as you are a student in the at the Humber College and you're doing a research for the website of, you can just say that. That's okay, that's acceptable.
Okay.
Actually, you should write the moderator in the context of you as a student, because you will do a real usability testing with people that are outside of your class, outside of the program, as one of your final assignments. So you could write it from the perspective of, we are students, we actually learning about usability testing. That will actually make them more relaxed too.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, write it from that perspective. It'll be a lot easier. Like, write it from your perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Yes, on the topic of, you want to bring participants, usually in the research, that have a positive sentiment about the brand. I will tell you why. Every time, and that was a criteria that I've added with the experience, every time that I brought people that were very negative about the brand, because that will happen, they talk so negative, and they will always go back to their bad experience, and then you're going to bring them back to their task. You're going to say, okay, great, I'm very sorry, Elizabeth, you had a bad experience, but let's go back to our scenario. You end up doing so much of this because they feel that this is an opportunity for them to just complain, and it's actually you end up spending more time trying to bring them back to their user scenario versus the value that you find. So and again, if you remember, we're not here to measure customer satisfaction. We're really trying to get people to do something with our site and observe them. If they keep talking, they're not doing, you can't observe, there's low value. This is not to measure customer satisfaction. So in your criteria, you may want to mention, we want people that have actually a positive experience, that have a positive sentiment. And then the agency might tell you, they probably already have a way to do and ask that question. So that would be my advice to you. Then you really get more. People are excited. And actually, the people that are positive will give you a lot of good insights and they will stay on task. They will stay on the user scenario. They will give you some insights that maybe you care, you don't, but you're not going to be wasting time trying to bring them back and apologizing all the time. So is there a specific order that we should be submitting the test plans in when we make the final PDF? You can make a final PDF for this assignment for your submission to me before midnight. Make one big PDF that has your 4 pieces in it. You can put them in any order, but logically, if you want to make it easier for me as a professor to understand your test plan and what you've done, then put it in the order. Start from the consent form. Then you may want to do the moderator, a new moderator, then put the screening where I think I've inserted the screening. The screener is for you, will be where you open up the session. You'll say, Elizabeth, again, thank you for coming. I know you're you're shopping for guitars, or I know you do guitars rental. And thank you for coming to a session today. You've been renting before, you've done online, blah, blah, blah. Then this is your screening pieces for me to know that you've done your screener. Then you're going to say, great, today we're going to do, you're going to be busy. I'm actually going to give you things to do on the Maccabee site. Do you know, have you ever heard of Maccabee site? They may have never heard, right? One of your screening, maybe you're going to say, we want to bring people that are either they've been or they haven't been to Maccabee. So if you've said we want people that have never been to Maccabee, which I think is the case, then you're going to say, today we're here. We're going to be spending time on the site called Maccabee. And then you may say, have you ever heard of them? Well, you know they haven't, because you've only told the agency to bring people who have never been. They'll say, no, I have never been. Then you may want to say, well, on this site, Maccabee sell music, but you don't want to give them too much insight too. But you will see Maccabee they actually sell guitars, and I know you've been actively engaged looking for a guitar. We're going to be spending time, and I will give you some scenarios. Then you can pause and say, do you have any questions? They're probably going to have some questions, but you'll know if you're going to be answering those questions at some point, or if now is a good time to do. Then there you can put your user scenario. I would say your user scenario, maybe you can insert them in moderator. As long as I see that you have your 4 pieces, I don't care where and how. So it's up to you. But if you want to do one big document, yes, well, thank you. Sorry, I have coffee being delivered. That would be, that's fine. I need to see the 4 pieces. If it's easier in one document, then you're making it easier for me. Any questions? Should the screener be about a half a page to a page, and what would be okay? It doesn't sound like it needs to be very long. Exactly. It does not need to be very long, Destiny. As long as I see that you know who you're going to bring in and what's unique about your participants that will come in, and then if I feel an opportunity to give you feedback on maybe you should consider this, maybe you should consider this, maybe you should consider this to help you, then it's, I mean, yeah, like it's as long as you feel, but I would say don't include the question. But if you have included a question, that's okay. Don't erase them. It's going to be just good work for you. It's hard to say how long. Maybe it's half a page. I don't know. Like as long for what you need, so that I understand who you're bringing is really the answer. Okay, so me, it's not about length necessarily, but if I see it's one bullet point, a bullet point is not enough, because it's this, like there needs to be probably half of a page that says I'm gonna have new people that are new to Zara, people that have never bought to Zara, and then they're gonna have following 1, 2, 3, maybe filter. Then people that have shopped to Zara, or people that have shopped to Roots, or maybe people that have shopped to the following competitors. Because maybe Zara said, we want to bring people that fall into a competitor. That would be something you would make up on your own, because I don't think that was in the brief. But maybe your team said, we're going to do this. Think about who you're going to be recruiting when you're going to do your real usability testing, if it helps too. Yes, Lillian, how can I help?
Hi, do we need 2 sets of questions for the 2 groups of screener questions for the different user types? So like, for example, do we need to have like one separate screener question for new users and then a separate set for existing?
I would say don't worry about the questions at this point, but just the criteria, like think about, you're going to have someone who works for a recruiting agency. They're going to sit in front of you. They'll say, Lillian, tell me who you need to bring to the study. You need to tell them what you're looking for.
Okay.
Music, people with music background. They're great. They'll say, is there another type of people? Then they'll say, okay, what is the other type? And that's it. They will build a question for you. Actually, what they may do, they may actually, yeah, it's going to be hard here to have the same participant fit all, right? Like you either are looking for a guitar, you've never been on a guitar, or you're doing rental, and it's going to be hard to have someone doing rental wanting to shop for a guitar if that's not what they want. So, but think about what you will tell the agency to be able to bring the right people for you. That's really how I would phrase it.
Yeah.
Are there any questions? Any other questions?
Not yet. Thank you.
So what I was thinking I would do between now, we are together until 1:30, 3:15. So I'm going to open up the breakout sessions, and then you guys can move between breakouts, groups, and meet your team and continue working on your on the material. I will come and visit. And then we probably going to do that for about, we already have almost half an hour or 20 minutes in the session. I would say the class goes until 3:15. So what if we do until at least probably 3:30, and then we'll see how it goes. If the class says we're done with our material, then we can actually maybe review some of your material, and maybe I can give feedback. But I will come and visit each of your teams, maybe give feedback or answer questions. How does that sound? I want this time to be time for you to work. We good? Okay, so don't worry for the test dates. Don't put anything for test date. That will be for you. When you do your test, you're going to put the day of your test, right? Because you may typically, we haven't talked much about this, but when you do a usability testing, you should probably not do more than 4 to 6 or 6 to 7 people in one day. You've never done testing. I think most of you have never. Do we have one person who's done usability testing before? It's very, very tiring. So you shouldn't do, at the beginning, you should do maximum 5 sessions in one day. You will see it's draining. You're going to be drained, tired. So you're going to put day 1 and the date, and then you're going to put the name of the participant so that you remember who it is, because you will see 5 people in one day. You may see 15 people total from your research, right? Maybe you're going to do 3 days of testing. So, and if you do 5 days, 5 participants, you just want to make sure you put your day and your date and the name as well. But don't put that in the template for now. In the templates you provided us. No, don't put dates in the template. It's just that placeholder. It'll be placeholder for you. Can Liz and I still have a meeting with you today? Yes, absolutely. Anya, you can have a meeting with me at any point. We can do after class, or I can send people to the breakouts, and then, or you choose. I think you can choose to stay here in the main room, Anya, with Liz, and I think we can talk here too. That's also an option. So I will do whatever is convenient for you. So can I send you to breakouts until 3:30, and then, but I will be visiting, and then we'll see if we need more time or not, and then maybe we'll do a demo where I will do a demo of usability testing. I'm going to go through pretty much all the stages. On the topic of testing, so let's say that you end up doing a testing for a company and you do 10 participants. Your testing would be over the course of 2 days. 5, and maybe you would do day 1 of testing. The day 2, you will do a debrief with your team and say, here's what we found, and maybe you're going to make changes to your wireframes and even prototype. And maybe there are some issues that you found on day 1 that there is an easy answer or solution that you may actually want to make the changes to the prototype. And then you go on day 2, like of your testing, and hopefully you see that you're going to have less failure and more passing as well. That is very powerful, and that's iterative testing. So for us, for this class, we're going to do just 1 day of testing in class, and then we're going to do 1 day of testing with real people, real participants, but you could do 1, 2, 3 days of testing, and you could do 3 days. You could do Monday testing, you find all the failures, and then you fix on the Tuesday. Then you do Wednesday, then you see if you have last failure, and then on a Thursday you do another set of revisions to your prototype, and then on Friday you go, and you hope that you're gonna go from a passing rate of from 50% passing rate to a 90% passing rate, and that may be maybe you set a target and you say the task will finish when we have reached a target of 90% of success, and maybe you're going to need a day 4 of testing. That could also happen, but rarely. Okay, so I'm going to open breakout rooms. Join your team, and I will come and visit, and I will do that until 3:30.
Oh,
Okay. Yes, I will allow attendees. Sorry, I've closed and I will reopen the rooms and I will allow you to switch rooms. So my apology. Thank you for coffee.
hi, Yves.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. So I'm eating chocolate.
Oh, no, that's okay. You know what I really started to enjoy is dark chocolate with sea salt. It's a great snack.
Oh my God, don't tell me that. I'm already like bad. But yes, I love sea salt or even caramel and sea salt, right? But
Oh,
dark chocolate,
yeah.
there's something about dark chocolate. It's bitter but sweet at the same time.
Yes, and then if you add that salty aspect to it, it's so good.
I know it feels like because it's dark, it's not as milky and as fatty as the other ones, and you have less of a guilty feeling.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so how can I help you? Hold on, I have Destiny who has a question. I think she's by herself. Destiny, are you all by yourself?
Yes, I am.
And is there a room available for you so you can be in a breakout, or that's also an option.
No, there are no rooms available.
Okay, so let me open. I think I can create. Hold on, Elizabeth and Liz. Let's see if I can create a new room.
Sure.
Create a new group, and then Destiny, I think you will be able to be in, and I will update. Okay, I think there's only the two of us, so I don't know if there's anything sensitive, but there's always a risk that might be someone listening if there is something sensitive about your topic, but otherwise I'm all yours. So how can I help you both?
Yeah, well, I guess we just wanted to go over our heuristics evaluation,
Yes.
just for and stuff. And
Okay.
then,
Perfect. Do you want to share with me your heuristic evaluation that we can look at it together? To be honest, I had a note to relook at my feedback in your comments, and I haven't had a chance to, so I feel like I'm not necessarily prepared, but I will get back into it as I see it. I'm very visual.
yeah, sure. Let's see if I can screen share here. Oh, shoot.
Can you?
Yeah, you might have to. I don't think so, either because you're screen sharing or you have to enable it for me or something. You might have to make me like a collaborator or something.
Yeah, you're here. Let's see if I can find you. Moderators. So let's see if I can perhaps find it. I may be able to just go find it. Hold on. We're gonna go full grade. Think center. First name. Okay. Okay, I have it with me. So perhaps you may want to share with me your questions, the questions that you had, maybe about the comment, or that would be awesome.
Okay, so we did StructTube. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yep,
and it was a pretty good site overall. So I guess we just wanted to start so our first question, I believe we lost some marks. Anya, we wrote down some questions together. Oh, sorry, Yves, go ahead.
Yeah, no, no, you go ahead. Go ahead. I have the feedback in front of me too, but yes, tell me.
Okay. Anya, I guess we'll just go through our questions.
Yeah, just go through them, like start top to the bottom. I got them pulled up on my screen too, so I'm following you.
Okay. Okay, so our first question was on the overall grade. I think we got like a 30 something, where does it say? Oh, 27 out of 35. But then when it goes out to out of 15, it goes to 11 out of 15, and then it ends up being sort of like a 5%, like less, 5% lower. So just wondering.
Yeah, well, listen, this calculation is done manually, so that might be something here. I have 27 out of 35, but then it's 11 out of 15. So
yeah.
Okay, cat science set.
I think it just ends up going from like a low 70 to a high 70, but it just kind of.
Yeah. Okay, so the total was 27 out of 35. So there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements out of 5 for a total of 35. And then I give a breakdown for each one of them. And then some of them you did very well. Some of them you've lost a few points, a few marks. And for a total of 27 out of 35, which is 11. But I can review the calculation. There's no problem.
Well, no, it's not so much the calculation. It's just, so on the marking, it was out of 35. But then on Blackboard, when it got like distributed, it was only out of 15. So I think that's why we were confused.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like our marks, it says 11 out of 15, even though you graded us out of 35.
Well, yes, the total points is 35, but then I converted to a 15 percentage because it's only 15% of your final mark, but it's a 35 total points.
Okay.
So this heuristic evaluation is 15 points for your total grade. For your final grade, it will contribute to 15 points total to out of 100. And but then for the assignment, it was a 35 points total, but then I converted it to in which you got 27 out of 35. Then I say, what is this on 15? And it's 11 points out of 15.
Okay.
So you got 11 points out of 15 that will count to your 100% points.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I think I'm just thinking like percentage wise, like 11 points out of 15 is a 72, but if you do 27 out of 35, it's like a 78. So it kind of it kind of hurts a little, I guess, in terms of our overall grade, but I understand.
Yes. No, I know, but It's that's always a challenge when we take like points, 35 points, and then we convert down of 11, 15. Sometimes that the jump is so big, and psychologically, like it feels like, oh my God, it's a big jump, and sometimes almost slash unfair through the conversion. But I would say you did very well. Like 11 out of 15 is a good mark. We are here to learn. So I know marks are super important, and you guys want to probably have 100 out of 100. But it's the ability, like there's nothing here, there's nothing in your evaluation. And in fact, all classes did very well, and you guys are not really any different. It's your ability to do heuristic evaluation is very well. Like you guys are very, it was very well structured. You did very good. Now, of course, when I look at all the evaluation, all the assignment, then I look at everybody, how everybody has done in terms of their ability to show me that you have understood what heuristic evaluation will do for this particular class. And really, we were interested in the usability evaluation. My assumption was that you've all done heuristic evaluation. In fact, I'm not necessarily that interested in heuristic evaluation. I'm more interested in, are you asking yourself the right question so that when we're going to go to usability testing, you know exactly clearly where we're going and why we're doing the usability testing. That was really more the intent. So I looked at your evaluation versus some other evaluation, and then I do some comparison as well, and in terms of breadth. So when I look at breadth of issues, when I look at have you appropriately identified the issue with the right heuristic and the right evaluation. So, and I look at, and most people, rarely will people be able to associate all issues to the right heuristic, because sometimes heuristic can be a bit of a challenge. But then overall, you did well there too. Now, maybe the breadth of issues, when I look at, are there more issues that we could have probably found or discover if we would have spent more time or whatsoever? And I'm not suggesting you haven't spent time on it. Perhaps you spend more time than anyone else on this, but that I don't know, right? So I felt that there were probably more areas or more things that we could have discovered. Mind you, it was a good site, but I don't remember the details. But maybe the checkout, maybe there was not a lot of time spent on the checkout. I think. Did you surface a lot of issues in the checkout?
Well, that was another one of our questions actually. So we didn't include the checkout process as like a part of. I think we lost marks because we didn't look at the checkout process, but one of our goals didn't, I guess, include the checkout process in it. It was just like adding something to the cart we didn't like specify checking out or not. So that's why we personally didn't look at it.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then. So how important is buying online for your evaluation or for your client?
Yeah, I guess that would be like, important.
No, but and again, I don't know what the answer is. So and you know, honestly, I'm prepared to relook at the evaluation, right? I'm prepared to relook at, because depending on knowing more, because it's hard to put all of what you just shared with me in a report. I don't know. But here's a question. If you say, well, it is important for structure to buy online, and you chose not to look at checkout, then I will say, but why did we not look at checkout? So perhaps the other way for me to ask you, why did we choose not to look at checkout initially?
Right.
So that would be more.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
The biggest thing for me in terms of that question is like we really, when we were talking about like our user types, we were talking more about, like in my personal opinion, when you're looking at furniture, like that's a big purchase for someone, especially if you've never purchased furniture before. So that's something I definitely mull over a lot more. So like I wouldn't just go online and buy furniture. I probably wouldn't buy like a couch online. Like I'd want to go and sit on it. But I think that's why we focus more on like what you would do without actually buying the furniture.
Okay, so listen, if you say you met the structure, they're not interested about people buying online when it comes to a couch. This is something they've shared with us, and we're not interested necessarily about the buying experience, but we're more interested about the shopping. Do at least someone get enough information about that particular couch? Do we help them well to look for a couch? Do we guide them to look for a couch? Do we help them with the filters? And then are the options that we want them to do found, so perhaps we don't want them to buy online, but what do we want them to do next?
Right.
Right? If you say, Yves, that was our focus, and the checkout is actually not really a very important experience, then that completely changed the focus of your heuristic. I assume that you were interested on the checkout online because it's online and maybe they do want people to buy online, especially because of COVID, but maybe not. I don't know.
Right.
So if you now tell me, Yves, we're not necessarily going to be spending time on the checkout. We're more about discovering, finding the best option, the best piece of furniture for you, and then for consumer to understand the options that are available to them. Once I found a couch, then what does structure want them to do?
Right.
They want them to do something, right? What is that something? At this point, you should probably either make decisions, be clear on what you think that something will be, so that you will know on your test next week, or when you do the real test with real people, what you're going to be looking for. So that's easy, and that will add a few points, because we've changed the strategy and the focus of your evaluation. So
Right.
what else were you unsure about? How I actually do my assessment to make sure that you guys have understood? What was there anything else?
We have like two more, I guess, major questions. Actually, I hope you don't mind. We're still on record right now. So would you be okay on recording for this question?
Oh, hold on. No, I respect. Okay,